What's his name again?
Dan.
Oh, Dan. Regina Squares came over from Houston, Texas to see you.
Oh, thank you very much indeed for coming.
That's all right.
She'll be your technician for this evening.
See what's
this?
The batteries, I don't
Oh my God.
think they go up.
Cameras.
Can you open this for me?
Can I open this for you? Yeah, absolutely. Where do I... What, that?
Are you fully awake?
Are they these
Oh, yeah.
right? I know.
I'm not sure. Hold on. We're not...
He's a
A techie.
Look at him.
What a geek.
Yeah, they all seem to be in the right way. Hold on. Yes, yeah.
Please stay.
Yeah, they're in the right way. Do we want to replace them with these ones?
No, those are the ones that
Okay.
are out.
Nice job, Daniel.
Other way.
Let's keep them around. You should just take it as one and thank you. That's all right. While these on.
This is now falling down here. Sorry, I'm wrecking the place.
Is that got the...
No, not at all. Oh, is that okay? Do you want this on me?
This is on.
That one? Okay. I'm technically very inept, actually, but batteries I'm fine with.
We were just talking to Emma
please.
about the whole dancing sequence.
Oh, yeah.
And want to get your take on it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that? How was she? How do you think you guys did on it?
I think it was good. It was a very sweet scene. It was funny though because when I watched the film for the first time, I watched it with a friend of mine, and I said when the Nick Cave song came on, I went, that is the coolest Harry Potter has ever been. And then she just said, yeah, but that's not. When I started doing my Dad at a Disco dancing. So it was it's a sweet scene, I think. It was one that David sort of made up on the spot pretty much. And then Emery's actually quite a good dancer. So it was for me to sort of, muddle through and kind of, but also Harry shouldn't be a good dancer. He should be kind of crap, which I was. But next year on Broadway, I hope to be see a large improvement from that.
How to succeed in business.
I am, yes.
Are you excited about that?
I'm very excited.
That's one of my favorite music.
Is it okay? Well, hopefully I shall be able to honour it. Okay.
Sorry, it's tough.
No. It is. I mean, it's in terms of the singing, I'm not particularly. Too worried. I love singing and I've been doing it for a long time. But dancing is something that I've never done before taking lessons for this. But I've been doing, generally speaking, about 9 hours a week of training, and so I'm kind of if I screw up, it's not through lack of trying.
When does it open?
Well, we start rehearsals in January. I think we open in March. Yeah, but I think we start previewing in February, but then open in March.
What about that role intrigued you into what I would like to
Finch.
On stage?
It's bizarre. It came about because when I did Equus, Craig Zaden and Neil Merrin, the producers of How to Succeed, came backstage after Equus and they said, "You can sing." I went, "Well, I can sing the Milky Bar theme tune. That's what I have to sing in Equus." And they went, "Oh no, great. Well, we've got to find a musical." And those guys, it's a testament to persistence because they played us the show and we were like, okay, no, I like it, it's good, but I'm not sure the next thing to do and all that. And then they said then they sent us the script, and then gradually, just through their persistence, we started falling in love with it. And now I can't imagine myself doing any other thing as my first musical. Also, it's never really been played by somebody my age before. I think that makes it quite exciting because it's there's never really, as I said, it's never really been played at this age, and I think that makes a big difference to the character, because whereas if you have a guy in his late 20s, early 30s playing it, you go, okay, he's kind of a manipulative douche, really. But then actually, when you've got somebody of my age playing it, it means that you kind of attribute it to sort of youthful chutzpah, and you don't really question it so much,
Social Network,
I saw that film the other day and I just wanted to just give up acting. Right? It's just they're just incredible. I mean, it's one of the best films.
The three of you really were impressive in this movie.
Oh, thank you.
Really showed your acting.
Oh, thank you very much.
Did you feel challenged? That challenge while doing the movie?
Yeah, but I think because we're growing up as well the whole time, I don't think it didn't seem like too much of a challenge. I mean, it was a challenge. There were challenging moments, but it felt like if this was a natural progression to where we'd got to. You know, I mean, it didn't feel like we were being asked to make a massive leap. It felt like we were suddenly being allowed to do what we've kind of been ready to do for the last sort of 2 or 3 years in terms of where we've been at in our performances.
Well, you said VH always pushes you guys.
He does, yeah, and you know, on this film we were very lucky because had we tried to condense the book into one movie, which I think would have been disastrous, a lot of the stuff that would have been cut would have been a lot of the stuff in this film. Probably, you know, all that on the road section would have suffered dramatically, and yeah, for us to have all that time to explore the characters, and what's great about it is it's character exploration, but it's actually really interesting as well. It's not like it never crosses that line into being indulgent, because there's always something going on. There's always like, you're never more than 5 scenes away from a massive fight or something. So it's sort of, yeah.
Because you guys you stand on your own in these camping scenes because it's just you three. So was that part of the challenge, just without having all these other people around?
Yeah, I suppose it was really, but it's interesting because we didn't film it in sequence. We never really felt that at the time, I suppose, because we'd film like a scene with just 2 of us for, you know, maybe 2 days, and then we'd be doing a wedding scene with loads of people, or something like that. So it was broken up in such a way that we never really, I don't think we ever really felt too sort of as isolated as the characters did.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think it gives a much more interesting feel to the first film because, you know, we've never seen these characters without Hogwarts and without all these sort of familiar standard characters that you always see around them. So it gave it, I think, a much fresher feel and and made it a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
The 3 of us are from fan sites.
Oh, hello.
And it's the fact that these things exist is a testament to how big this fandom is.
Yeah.
I mean, when I started this thing when I was 12 and going all the way through these films with you guys as it all happens in the books. What are your thoughts on just the sheer size and scale of it? Like, have you ever Googled yourself?
When I was 14 or 15, I did, and to quote, there's a line in The Thick of It, which was one of my favourite programmes, and you'll all have to excuse me because I am about to use a mild swear word now, but they said it's like Googling yourself is like opening a door to a room full of people telling you how shit you are. And so it was sort of it comes from a place of sort of sadomasochistic egomania that kind of you think, okay, I'll write my name in and see what comes up, and then because all you're going on for is to hear nice things about yourself, and all you find are terrible things, generally speaking. And it doesn't matter if there's a list of 20 comments, there could be 19 of them could be fantastic, and the one that's bad just eats you up. So kind of since then I sort of stopped Googling myself since that day. But I mean, in terms of the actual scale of Potter, I think it is amazing. I mean, and in a way it's one of the things that keeps me grounded, I think, and sane, is the fact that you have to remember that it's not because of me that people are screaming at the premieres. Anybody who got this part would have had that level of mania sort of surrounding them a few weeks a year, and I think that's very important to remember. You know, it's I just got very, very lucky with the part that sort of I fell into. But in a way, it's a case of, because it becomes such a part of your life and a job in the most positive sense. Like, I love my job, but it is a job, and it's one that, you know, because you get up and you do your job and you go to work and you see the crew and you see everyone you know, and you don't really have a sense of how big it is when you're right in the centre. It's sort of a case of not being able to see the wood for the trees, and. But, you know, it is an amazing, amazing sort of phenomenon, and something that I don't think will very. I don't think. I just had my name over there, and I was. But then, what was the other thing I was going to say? In terms of the other thing, I think I'd say about the fans and about the, you know, about the sort of the scale is the fact that, you know, when you compare, it's interesting because Harry Potter is essentially, even though there are films now, is still at the heart of it is a literary phenomenon. And, you know, when you compare the fans of this to something, say, like Star Trek or Star Wars, all of which have that same incredibly devoted fan base. Because it starts off as a literary thing, it's kind of inspired a generation of really, really literate, interesting fans. Not just sort of geeks who just watch episodes over and over and over, but actually people who have, having been so inspired by the Potter books, have then gone off and expanded their reading into other areas. And kind of, I think that's what's the most remarkable thing about it, is I don't think there are any other kind of fans like Harry Potter who are so interested in everything, not just the thing that is the focus of their fandom. Yes.
You just mentioned that Harry Potter started off as the books, and you weren't an avid reader before Harry Potter. You said that. How did you actually get your hold of the first Harry Potter book? Was it your parents?
It was my parents, yeah, and they read it to me. I think they read the first two to me when I was 8 or 9. I think because I just didn't read at all then. Something I like to think I've made up for in the years since. But it's I didn't read at all at that time, and I found it boring, and I enjoyed having the books read to me. It was great, you know. My dad did a fantastic Basilisk voice. And when I tried to get Chris Columbus, I said to Chris, "Who should really hear my dad's Basilisk voice? That'd be great." And my dad, I think Chris kind of went, "That's great, Dan. Yeah, I think we'll get an actor to do it though." Yeah, no, I mean, but then after they read the second one to me, I think I sort of, then drifted away from Potter and didn't really, read them so much, and then, or at all. And then when I got the part, I kind of thought, I should probably read these.
When you read to you, did you ever think, I would love to be Harry Potter?
No, not particularly. His life sounded like a nightmare. So I kind of was thinking, God, this poor kid. But I think after I got the part, I then went back and read all four. I think only the first four had come out at that point, and I read them all back to back and just became obsessed. And would charge around my room, despite having been filming as him during the day. I would charge around my hotel room in Newcastle, where we were filming the scenes with the broom, that shot where it leaps up into my hand. We were doing all that stuff up at Alnwick Castle, and I would be going back to my hotel room at night and having wand fights with nobody. It's a pity I didn't have a brother. Yeah.
Harry gets to revisit a lot of his past in this one, which I thought was kind of interesting. And I think for the viewers or the audience that's going to see this, it's almost kind of a trip down memory lane for us that have watched all of the movies. And I'm wondering for you, going back to the cupboard and just being on the drive and doing all that kind of stuff, and fighting back again. How was all that for you, kind of reliving that and being able to do it as your age now as opposed to a little boy? Yeah,
it was strange seeing it all again, seeing those clips. As I recall, there is even more of that in part 2. It's always odd seeing that stuff, but I think when you see it in the context of the film, it's not so embarrassing. It fits more in with it. It is always strange watching yourself, but there's a slight moment of pride as well, and in that sort of nostalgia and thinking, I did all that, that's well done me. Yes.
Yeah, we've seen over the 10 years how you changed, but how haven't you changed? How have you remained the same as who you are?
I'm still very hyperactive. I've still got quite a lot of energy. I think the one thing that's different is that I have worked out a way in which I can sort of pace that energy more sensibly throughout a day, so I don't just go nuts for 4 hours and then crash and burn. But then I also think I don't know what else has stayed the same. I'm probably still as curious now as I was then. I think curiosity is the greatest, probably the greatest thing anybody can have, and I think I'm still quite respectful of a film set, as I was then, I think. But it was when I was 11, it was out of a sort of awe that I had respect for film sets. Now it's because I'm so involved in them and I realise how wonderful they are to work on, and what a wonderful experience it can be, because it's a very communal experience when you're working with a group of people for 3 or 4 months on a normal film, and anything from 11 to 18 months on a Potter film. You're all striving towards the same thing, I mean, there might be times when you feel like you're pulling in different directions, but ultimately you are all going the same way and trying to make a good film together, and that's something that I think is very special. And yeah, I think that's a healthy respect for the workings of a film set. I think is certainly not changed.
To the last scene,
There was lots of crying from myself, Emma, and Rupert. Emma, Rupert, and I should say, and the crew as well. You know, because a lot of them have been there for 10 years as well. So there were lots of tears from everybody really, and it was very sad. And at the time, I remember sort of being quite inconsolable for like 2 hours, and then 4 hours later I was on a plane and I was reading a script for The Woman in Black, which I'm now filming. So we move on. But
That was fast.
yeah.
What are you now filming?
The Woman in Black. It's an adaptation of the Susan Hill novel, and it's a gothic horror movie, and it's I play a 24-year-old father of one whose wife has died, and a lawyer who gets sent to the house of a woman who has recently died to go through all her documents and sort of make collate them all, and the house that he goes to is haunted. Not to give too much away.
Some stills from that, and you were quite dashing in there because it's like
Thank
a
you.
19th century look to you, almost
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes.
Well, that we did take a bit of a leaf out of their book in terms of that sort of sexed up Victoriana kind of look. In terms of the costumes, you know, it was. You know, I have an amazing costume in this film. I love it. It's a very simple grey suit, but it's really well fitted, and it's a nice waistcoat, and I've got a fob watch, and I get little sideburns as well. I'm really enjoying this look. It's how I would dress all the time if that wouldn't get me beaten up in London.
When Emma was sitting here, she was talking about her experiences at Brown University. Is
Oh, right.
college in your future, or
I
you
think so.
concentrate on career?
Yeah, I'm just going to try and make a career for myself. I think it's, you know, Emma's the most academic out of all three of us by quite a long way. So I don't think like university would have been on the cards for myself and Rupert. Like, I think, to be honest, I found school. Whoa! I found school. Thank you, Captain. That was like that scene from Captain Tiger. I found school very, very hard. You know, I got good results most of the time, but then I dropped out a year early. Because I was going to rehearsals for Equus, and to be honest, I think when you find something that, like, I found something that I have some aptitude with, and you know, I hesitate to say I'm good at, because it's, you know, I'm so far away from being a finished article, and I've still got a lot to learn. But I certainly think I'm better at this than I would be at anything else. So I'm going to try and just focus on that, and you know, try and make as long a career for myself as possible.
Cut you any slack in recent years. I imagine you used to get mobbed in the streets. Is the public used to you now, or?
I think around my area they're quite used to me. It's kind of, oh, there he is again. But also it's kind of, I think I do. It's the advantage of being 5'5" is that, you know, sort of no one really looks twice. Is if you're just a skinny short ass in a crowd doesn't attract too much attention.
Was it ever out of control?
Not really. Only in Japan. In Japan, it went wild when I was in Japan. When I was over there, it's amazing because it manages to be both aggressive and incredibly restrained at the same time, in that they will charge towards you, but it is like there is an invisible barricade 2 foot from you, and they will not go past that. It's really incredible.
You had that little cloak around.
Oh yes, yeah. It is like having some sort of force field protectively. I mean, when I arrived in Japan when I was 13, there were 5,000 people waiting in the airport arrivals lounge screaming. I mean, it was pretty intense. I mean, it was. You know, I am a Beatle in Japan. I went to there was a program in Japan called Let's Go to School, which is like. It's this thing where these two girls have written off to the program makers and said, we would like so and so to come to our school. And normally it's kind of big Japanese celebrities, so they're not used to like other famous people coming around. Anyway, these two girls wrote up and said we would like Daniel Radcliffe to come to our school. And these two very excited young Japanese guys in tuxes who present the show, very, very nice men, they sort of said to me, well, these people don't know you're coming, so it's going to be a really big surprise. Anyway, we got round the corner and there were hundreds of girls leaning out of the windows to a dangerous degree, and I was walking inside, and there was actually a moment when I sort of bumped into a girl by accident. I said, oh, sorry, and she just fainted. It's bizarre. So it's a very strange country for me to go to, but it's quite fun. Anyway, I think I'm getting moved on, guys. You've got somebody more interesting.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.